Hello again, and welcome to We Don't Know What We're Doing, and That's Okay. Many things have changed. If you can tell, my husband rigged this amazing DIY setup, so now I'm like filming like legit YouTubers, and you don't have to look at everything from the side. That being said, my last video was over a half hour long, and I'm sure that was a bit too much. I'm sure there's like unspoken YouTube rules about length, and I broke it. And I was trying to figure out like, where do I fit in? Like, what's my niche here? I'm thinking it's like, if you watch my videos, this being now all two of them, it's the kind of video that you would put on like when you're crafting or doing art journaling, and you can just have my video on and we can craft together and feel like we're in the same room. It's kind of like that. So we're just going to go with that, right? Because we don't know what we're doing. So I have had this orange background ready to go for quite a while, but my kids were on spring break, and then my husband had like 9 days off, so I had never had alone time. And I really like doing these when I'm home alone. Now, of course, I am dog sitting my parents' dog, who barks at everything. So hopefully he does not hear some random noise and starts barking his head off during this video. So, okay, so orange and yellow background. I just used acrylic paint, made it messy. Then I used a stamp, or I'm sorry, not a stamp, a stencil, and used yellow paint again. Did some little white splashes. Also did some stamping just of some script, and I think also like an orange or like a red, and that's how I made the background. And I'm using all of these Dylusions die cuts, and because I've been letting this sit for so long, I don't know how I was originally planning to do this, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. And see, now I'm throwing stuff. These are from the Reset Girl, and I really like them. And I took this and turned her into this. Isn't she funkalicious? I love her. So, and I had also had a quote that inspired all this, but I forgot what the quote is. So I'm fairly certain the quote that will end up on this page will not be what was originally intended. So now what I'm going to do, I have some little pieces cut out for the border, and I've got to figure out where all of these pieces are gonna go and make it make sense. Now, because I don't know how to do that fancy editing yet where you guys are working and it's like fast forward, I'm just going to figure out where everything goes, and then I'll come back. Stand by. Okay, so I'm back. And this is the second time I am filming this section because I didn't realize my camera was filming portrait and not landscape. Annoying. So I ate up all my time today figuring out where I was going to put all these things. I'm 99% sure this is not at all how I had planned it originally. I picked out another quote to go with it from Art by Marlene, Sticky Quotes, which I'm again fairly certain not the original one I was going to go with because I have no memory of whatever that was. I'm thinking I'm going to seal all this with matte medium, and then maybe come back in with the texture paste and do something with a stencil over the top of this, and then do some shading with the big brush markers. And then after it's all said and done, do the quote. But like I mentioned, I ate up all my time figuring out where every little thing was going to go and tucking stuff in and layering it up, which is delightfully enjoyable in an odd sort of getting in the zone sort of way. So now I've got to go pick up my little kiddos, and I'm going to have to come back to this tomorrow because P.S. when I was doing all this, probably should have been doing homework and probably should have been doing all those dishes in the sink. But that's no fun, is it? So we will be back shortly. Okay, so here we are several days later, and I'm going to be using the Faber-Castell big brush markers, and I'm going to highlight around the edges of all the die cuts to kind of give them a little more depth, as you can see, or maybe you can't. I've started doing them around those little circles. They look a little bit more like they've got some darker edges. So I'm going to try to do that in this very exciting fast forward like you professionals do. Okay, so that's done. So now I'm going to use the same little kind of rainbow shapes that I did here in the background with some of the texture paste and put some of that on there. Okay, so this is where we're at. I put those little rainbow images on there with the stencil and the texture paste, and then I went back and I put a layer of whatever this is, metallic acrylic, copper. And then I decided to add some black on top. I also went back and I put a bunch of stuff with my Moonlight gel pens. So I just keep adding stuff. And as always, I don't know what I'm doing. So I think the next step is just putting the quote on. So we'll do that next. So the quote I'm going to use is "My inner voice says I am extraordinary." And I am going to take one of those words and either handwrite it or use my Sizzix die cut to make it bigger with a bigger font. But I didn't really leave myself a lot of room here, so I've got to figure out how I want to do that. So I'll be back after I figure that out. Okay, so I use my die cut machine to cut out extraordinary. And as I always do, and now I'm realizing I probably have done it again, I lost the I, and then I had to go back and recut it again. And now I'm realizing I was moving my, oh, see, right there. I'm gonna lose these pieces. And you know, the older I get, the harder it is for me to manipulate these little tiny pieces. So anyway, I'm gonna have to get one of those little wax tipped things that you use for like jewels and stuff. That way I can pick stuff up a little easier because I keep losing everything. In fact, okay, it's still there. How many times am I gonna lose the top to my eye? So now I'm gonna use matte medium and I'm gonna stick everything down. These guys are stickers, so they're already down. But we're just gonna stick this down, and then I'm gonna figure out how I wanna embellish the extraordinary. Hopefully that's spelled correctly. You know when you stare at something for so long and it just looks like a jumble of letters and it doesn't even look like a word. Yeah, so let's see how that goes. Okay, now that I successfully got all the letters down, I'm trying to decide what I want to do to make them look pretty. So I have sealed them in with matte medium, and I'm going to try to use the magenta and kind of put the color at the bottom of the letter and kind of make it go up. And I'm very scared that this is a mistake. But you know what? I don't know what I'm doing. That's okay. So we're just gonna go with it. And if I don't like it, I will figure out a way to change it. So I'm just gonna do this first one. In regular speed. I don't love it. Okay, so let's see. We're gonna add, don't love it, do more. We're gonna add, let's see. I wanna do orange, but I feel like that's a bad idea. Let's do it anyway. We're gonna do some orange from the top and go down. And then because I'm doing orange and the background's orange, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to like outline the letters to bring them back out again. So we're gonna have orange at the top. We're gonna have purple at the bottom. I gotta figure out which fingers I'm doing this with. I kind of want them to be darker and then go lighter. I'm gonna have to mess with this for a while, because it does take a while to figure out how to do things when you really have no idea what you're doing. I swear, when I feel like I watch other people do stuff like this, it just turns out so perfect, effortlessly. I kind of like the messiness, leaving a little bit of white, so we're gonna go with that. Yep, that's what we're doing. Okay, so I think we've got a finished product here. So I put the purple and the orange. I don't know if it's better or worse with this light on. I guess maybe it's better without it. And then I outlined it with the purple gel pen. And then I just did a little bit of outlining on the other words and added a little bit of doodles in there, kind of zhuzh it up. And I'm staying true to my vision board, which was to enjoy the process. I just kept doing stuff on this, and it really wasn't anything with any particular outcome in mind. I just kept adding stuff because it was fun. And so here we go. So now I've got to figure out how to edit all these videos and make it something worthwhile to watch. And hopefully it wasn't too crazy long this time. So thank you for watching. We don't know what we're doing. That's okay. See you next time.